Let's be honest. In a world that's just drowning in information, we're all looking for a life raft. Well, what if that raft was a smarter, more dynamic second brain, one that's powered by AI? Today, we're going to explore how this tech is completely transforming our digital lives. You know that feeling, right? Just a constant flood of articles, emails, notes from meetings, and all these stray thoughts. It's this digital overload that leaves us feeling scattered and, frankly, pretty overwhelmed. But what if there was a better way to handle all of it? To really get a sense of how big this problem is, just look at this number, 175 zettabytes. That's how much data the world is expected to create by 2025. And a zettabyte, that's 1 trillion gigabytes. Our brains, as amazing as they are, they just weren't built for this kind of scale. We're navigating a whole information universe, and we definitely need a new map. And this isn't just, a personal feeling. It's a real measurable drain on our professional lives. This challenge of information overload has some serious consequences for our productivity and our ability to innovate. Get this. Recent studies show that knowledge workers spend up to 30% of their week, that's almost a third of their entire work week, just searching for information they need to do their jobs. I mean, that is a staggering amount of time spent looking, not doing. It's pretty clear our old ways of organizing things are just breaking down. So to fight this chaos, this whole concept of a second brain, which was really popularized by productivity expert Tiago Forte, has gotten huge. The idea is pretty simple. You create a digital extension of your own mind, a single, trusted place where you can offload everything you want to remember, connect, and build on. Now, this manual approach, it usually follows a four-step process called code. You capture ideas, you organize them by project, you distill them down to their key insights, and then you express them by creating something new. It's a really powerful system for sure, but it's a ton of work, and that is exactly where AI comes in and changes the entire game.
We are now stepping into a totally new era, one where we can supercharge our second brain with artificial intelligence. And this isn't just some small improvement, it's a fundamental upgrade. It changes our knowledge from just being simple storage into an active partner.
So instead of a passive digital filing cabinet, AI transforms your notes into an active, intelligent partner. These new systems can turn all that siloed information into what some people are calling knowledge fabrics, these interconnected webs that can interpret, connect, and bring up insights right when you need them. Your second brain is no longer just a place to store ideas, it's a place that actually helps you think.
Okay, so how does this all actually work? I know it sounds a little bit like magic, but the technologies at its core are surprisingly straightforward. So let's pop the hood and take a look. So a huge piece of the puzzle is something called a vector database. Now, traditional search looks for keywords, right? A vector database, it searches for meaning. It organizes all your information based on conceptual relationships, so the AI can find relevant notes even if they don't use the exact same words you're searching for. It's searching for ideas, not just text. It's a game changer. And the architecture that really makes these tools trustworthy is called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. This is the secret sauce that stops the AI from just making things up, a problem that we call hallucination. The best way to think about it is like an open book exam for the AI. Before it's allowed to give you an answer, it's forced to go find the evidence directly from your notes. The RAG process itself is actually pretty simple and elegant. First, you ask a question. Then, the system dives into your personal knowledge base to pull out the most relevant notes it can find. And only then does the AI use that specific retrieved information to generate an answer that's grounded in facts. This is what ensures the output is based on your trusted notes, not just the wild open internet. So this huge technological shift has created this vibrant, brand new ecosystem of tools. Let's take a quick tour of what's out there. This emerging landscape of AI-powered second brain apps, which pretty much fall into two main camps.
So on one hand, you've got the established players, tools like Notion, that have kind of bolted on AI features to their platforms that were already there. And then on the other hand, you have this new wave of AI-first tools, like a company called Tana, that were built from the ground up with AI at their very core. And these often offer a much deeper, more seamless integration.
Yeah, these AI-first tools, like the code editor Cursor, they really show the potential here.
By embedding your entire knowledge base, it can understand the full context of everything you've ever saved. You're no longer just searching your notes, you're actually having a conversation with them, getting synthesized answers pulled from your own personal library.
This diagram here shows us exactly how a tool like Cursor does that. So when you ask a question, the AI agent activates that retriever tool we were just talking about. It's forced to search your personal knowledge base, that's the Enterprise Knowledge Assets box here, before it generates a response. This is RAG live in action, making sure the answers are totally grounded in your own data.
But, as these tools get more and more powerful, a really fascinating tension starts to emerge. Is the goal here to fully automate our thinking, or is there still an irreplaceable role for the human mind in this new partnership?
This quote from the world of knowledge management, it really gets to the heart of it. You can't just ask an AI to synthesize ideas or create something new if you haven't first done the hard work of understanding the topic yourself. The quality of what the AI gives you is directly tied to the quality of what you feed it.
And this brings us to a really important contrast with older methods, like the Zettelkasten system, which is a note-taking method that really emphasizes the manual, human effort of connecting ideas. Think of it like a personal gym for your thoughts. The value doesn't just come from the final product. It comes from doing the intellectual reps yourself, by wrestling with ideas and forging those connections on your own. AI can definitely help with this, but it can't replace the deep understanding that comes from your own effort.
And this really highlights a critical point. The technology alone is never the whole solution. For these tools to really work for us, we have to get over some human and organizational hurdles. This means things like adopting new habits, creating a culture where we share knowledge instead of hoarding it, and maybe most importantly, guarding against the risk of relying too much on AI, which could actually hurt our own critical thinking skills if we're not careful.
So as we're standing here on the edge of this revolution in how we manage knowledge, it's so important to think about our role and the responsibilities that come with using such powerful technology. To help guide us into this future, leaders in tech have laid out some core ethical principles for AI. They include beneficence, the idea that AI should do no harm and should augment our intelligence. Justice, making sure its benefits are shared fairly. And respect for persons, which means upholding our autonomy, our privacy, and our consent.
Ultimately, the goal here is to build trustworthy AI. For our second brains to be truly reliable partners, the AI inside them has to be transparent in how it works, explainable in its reasoning, fair in its outcomes, and robust enough to resist manipulation. These principles, they're really the bedrock of a healthy human-AI partnership.
And that leaves us with one last, really thought-provoking question. As these incredible AI tools start to take on the heavy lifting of organizing and recalling information, they're freeing up our own minds. So, as AI helps you build your second brain, what are you going to do with the reclaimed creative and cognitive power of your first?